Success in 2024. What does that mean to you? What does it look like? What does it feel like? How is it going to be going forward into 2024? 2023 is officially a thing of the past. It is history. So, how do we move forward? And everybody got different ways of success, but forgiveness is major in order for you to get to the next level in 2024. There's four levels. We're going to talk about it. It involves your parents, it involves your relationships, it involves those who try to do you wrong, and it also involves yourself. We're live on set. 2024, we are here and we are talking about how we strategize and how we execute and with our teamwork because it takes a village and I am product of a village and real recognize real and we are going to talk about it. We here. Success, I guess. Gotta be success, I guess. Listen, we are live on set and we're talking about forgiveness. In order to be successful into the new year, it has to be about forgiveness. And forgiveness you have to forgive everything. You have to really create a new, clean canvas. And when you forgive, it's not about you becoming a weak person. It's about you actually recognizing who you are as a person and what you want to do and how you want to be and where you want to go and who you want to grow with and what's your reasons for even wanting to do so in the first place. So when it comes to forgiveness, you have to be able to forgive your parents, alive or dead, officially, 100%. You have to appreciate their trials and tribulations, what it took for them to be able to get together, to be able to make you. Out of all the possibilities in the world, you are here. You have to give forgiveness. You have to forgive them. Because I know for my mother, I know for my father, it wasn't easy. I know growing up, my father as a country boy in Savannah, Georgia, and my mother, just growing up as a northern East Coast woman, it was difficult during those times. And I could only imagine what it was like for them to meet one another in a time where they both just needed one another. For whatever it was, they needed each other for something. And even though they passed on, and my mother passing away, me at a very, very early age. I was under 5 years of age, and I didn't understand a lot. But I as I get older, I start to see more of myself as a person, and I realized that I could only imagine how my mother really was in real time. And I wish that she was actually here to be able to experience what technology has to offer and everything that comes along with it. But she didn't get the chance, and my father, he didn't pretty much get the chance either. But I do know that I really do miss them. I really do miss them. And I really, really wish that they were here to be able to see me, in education and to be hands-on with London and, what I'm saying, and meet Tanya and, just be with, their grandchildren and just be. But, that's what life's all about. And, for years, I didn't understand why I resented my father. And for years, I didn't understand why I resented my mother. I just didn't understand any of those things. I was just, going through a phase where, I didn't have my parents. I was a parentless child. I'm a parentless child. So you don't know how you're going to navigate And you're not big on taking advice from anyone. You're just not. You're not big on taking advice from anyone. And with my dad not being around, I didn't understand, how people kept me away from my dad. I didn't understand how life and situations and circumstances kept me away from him. And, in order to soar and get to the next level, you have to forgive. You have to forgive them and not have any grudge or any resentment towards your parents, alive or deceased, excuse me. Because it could be both. You could have one parent and another parent be gone, alive and or deceased. Yeah, I mean that. You have to forgive them. You have to be understanding to realizing that there's a saying that goes, what's that? Once an adult, twice a child, or twice a child, once an adult, because they get to a childlike thought process after a while, and it's like you're holding them down, like a passing of the baton. It was passed down to me different, but I will say that I forgive them. I forgive my mother and my father for, not being around and me having to navigate in this situation. And I forgive them because I know that their ways of growing up just wasn't easy. And sometimes life just throws you a different hand, even if you have one thing planned. Like I tell you guys, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Tell him what you plan on doing and seeing if it actually comes out. See if it actually works. See if it comes to existence. I was mad for no reason. When you sit down and you really do the homework, you'll realize that you're mad for no reason. You're mad, you're disgusted, you're angry at them for no reason. And that's why I forgive him, because I see, I feel a little bit of both of them when I move, when I navigate, when I make certain changes, when I, boast up, and when I fall back, and when I know when to shut up, and I know when to listen, I know when to read a room. I gotta be appreciative, because even though they wasn't around physically to show me, they showed me. With that being said, Mom and Dad, I forgive you. I thank you, I love you. Thank you for being able to bring me into the world to project this energy amongst others. It's not easy, but I know that, we have different callings. And overall, just my siblings and everybody that's been a part of my village, I thank you, because forgiveness is major, and forgiving your parents is major, because you don't know what they had to really, really go through for you to get thus far. We are live on a set. And if anything, listen, man, reach out to your parents. Shoot them a text. Give them a call. Realize that time is not on our side. And as I tell you guys, this game, this industry is filled to the brim. And after a while, you won't hear voices. You won't get a chance to. You won't be able to ask those questions. I asked my dad those questions, and he held it down though, because he didn't want to tell me how much of a handful my family was. And he took that to the grave, and I appreciate him for that. But I know that if he would have expressed himself, he would have probably still been here, because he held on to a lot of things. I know my dad held on to a lot of things, and I know it wasn't easy, man. And I just wish that he just spoke up and told me how certain people just were so full of shit. And at this age, I would have agreed with him. And that would have been something that we could have sat down and had a toast to. But my dad was very old school. He was very Southern boy, Southern hospitality. And that's where them Southern roots come in, believe that. I'm saying my mom was no easy handle picking, dealing with 16 siblings. Life is what you make it, guys. Push the button. Though I feel like I want to sneeze. Don't be regretful. Forgive. Let it all go. Push the button. The parent doesn't have to come to the child. The parent is not always going to come to the child. The child gets to an age and has to show what was put into them. And what they display is who they are. And some things will be out of your control. We're live on set. And the whole village, man, I appreciate you guys. Mom, Dad, you see me. I'm handling myself in areas where I'm not looking to mean no one harm. When I say I want to see everybody win, I really want to see everybody win. I want people to be able to say, yo, they're on a mission to get to something. Getting on a mission to something is everything. And if life is what you make it, what you gotta do in the comments is tell us what you're making. We will assist in the process. Listen, guys, make that phone call. If you love somebody, give forgiveness, man. Let it all go. Trust and believe. It makes all the sense in the world. We are live on set. See, I love music and creators, and I want you to have a studio, but I don't want the studio to have you. That's why you need to get in contact with Summer Entertainment to make sure you do this right the first time. These guys are officially unapologetic. They will help you get on a smarter studio budget plan because they're committed to doing what's right for the sole purpose of that project. That means that we're constantly checking in daily to make sure that you're getting what you said you wanted to get done. They'll show you what equipment that is beneficial for what you need to get done, because sometimes we struggle with what we want versus what we need, and that will now be a thing of the past going forward. In a nutshell, these guys actually care. That's why we call them Governor Trusted. Those thoughts that you have in the back of your head, let's finally get them out to the world. And the good folks at Summer Entertainment is here to help. Give them a call. Reach out. And congratulations, you're one step closer to getting the rest of the world to see what you're thinking. I'll see you guys in the studio. Peace. And we are back live on set with Irven. And yeah, you know what I would say. Get your EPKs in order. Get your life in order. Get yourself clear for 2024. But while doing that, to get to the next level, we're discussing these levels of success and forgiveness. Sometimes we walk around here with a lot of heavy hearts, and a lot of us have to learn to forgive, let go, relinquish, basura. And like I was saying, man, forgiving people is not making you less of a person. If anything, guys, it makes you a stronger individual. Why? Because you learn to accept people and things for what it is and for who they are. And who they are solely doesn't have anything to do with you. So we talked about the first level. The first level was your parents. You have to forgive your parents, dead or alive. You gotta forgive them. Their road wasn't easy any way you rolled the dice. So you have to learn to forgive. Let go. The second level to me, I believe, would be, marriages who become into divorce and relationships and, people that have done you wrong as far as in your past. Your relationships that didn't work. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it was your significant other. Doesn't matter if it was a job. Doesn't matter if it was a business opportunity. Doesn't matter if it was a music compilation or music artist for a music project. Doesn't matter what it was. It doesn't matter if people said they want to hire you for a gig and you didn't get the gig. Doesn't matter if it was a magazine company that no longer want to hire you for their festivals. It doesn't matter. You have to learn how to relinquish and let go of all relationships. Forgive them. Those that are trying to do you wrong in business, it's all good. Forgive them. Your relationships that just didn't work out, it's okay. You can forgive them. Forgive them. Because sometimes people really don't know what they're doing. People don't know what effect it's really going to have on the future until they probably have a recollection or a realization how it's going to work out. But when you think about your relationships, a lot of people go about life blaming their exes and people that they haven't dealt with in a long time because they haven't grown out of letting them go. Really forgiving people, being so mad that they was treated like shit. That's a part of business. That's a part of life. That's a part of relationships. There's a lot of friends of mine that say, yo, Irv, I think with all due respect, Governor, sometimes you come off a little bit too harsh. Do I? Do I really? Do I really come off that harsh? Or maybe you are not ready to hear the truth. That's why it's hard for you to forgive. Because maybe you do not have a clear recollection of what's going on in the grand spectrum of things. The real world. Some of us see the glass half empty. Some of us see the glass half full. Some of us don't even realize that there's a glass that exists to begin with. You guys are afraid to forgive people. I've learned to forgive all of my relationships, every single one of them. Because with forgiving all of those who have done me wrong, all it did was actually assist in the process of me becoming a stronger individual. It made me stronger. It made me realize that a lot of things that people gonna say to you, they're gonna say it to you. But how they mean it, they're gonna show that in time. And a lot of people say, yo man, he just mumbling, jumbling, he just going with the flow. No, because my life and my morals is based on loyalty and respect. And with all due respect, I don't break my balls for no one. I don't lose my integrity for no one. Not my kid, not my lady, not my siblings, not my relatives, not my neighbors, not my students, not administration, not staff, not parents. No one. I don't lose my integrity. for no one. But I forgive because some people don't realize how much they acting like. Some people don't even realize what they really doing. They don't realize what type of stuff they can get themselves into. And as I said it before, and I say it again, and I'm not going to say it too many times in 2024, but as a disclaimer, it is a blessing to not have to use your manpower in a negative manner. Because this game is filled to the brim with what? That's right, unrealistic. And we don't have time for that. So to all my exes, all the people that I've had relationships with, those that I've actually loved, to those that I'll never claim, to those who were my main and that knew who was important to me, to everybody that got me to where I'm at now, and clear-minded with just one woman. Because baby, I tell you right now, being in multiple relationships wasn't easy. And being younger, I played with a lot of people's emotions. I know that I did that as well. As much as I forgive those who've done me wrong in all my relationships, I also hope eventually they can find it in their hearts. When I wasn't with one girl and I was hanging out with another one, and even though I wasn't being intimate with them, maybe I was just having friends, and maybe they just didn't want me to have any more friends. Maybe I couldn't have the friends. Maybe I just couldn't have friends. And I thought that was a selfish thing. That's probably why a lot of my relationships didn't work out, because a lot of people want to have me and like alter themselves. And when you love people and when you care about people, you have to love them for them. That's the problem, because a lot of us are saying, yo, we love people for who they are. And then the harsh reality is, we really don't. You gotta stop lying to yourself. You gotta stop telling yourself that. You have to know that you are a person who have conditions. And when you accept who you are as a person, it'd be a whole lot easier to navigate on a clear playing field when it comes to your relationships. And then you'll learn to let everybody be who they are, because if you've grown into a better person, you gotta give them some type of grace and favor, correct? So with that being said, also, thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you, of my exes, every single one of you women who taught me something, who allowed me to grow and smiled at me and accepted my flaws and allowed to, laughed at me, and those who, gave me game, and those who told me to step my game up, and those who allowed me to speak clear, and those who allowed me to be honest, and those who also allow me to not give a because you guys are the ones that's responsible for me to be able to be in front of T and be able to be who I am, because believe it or not, on this side, there's no half-stepping. And I forgive you guys for those who did me wrong, those who try to play me, those who did me dirty, those who lied. I understand why you did, because being with a person like me isn't easy. But going forward, for me to become a better person and understanding success, I forgive you. You are forgiven. And I send you off well to commercial, because we are live on set with Irven. And this is how I decide to strategize. And I am executing. And this is my team. And because teamwork makes the dream work, we can do things like this. We're live on the set and we will be back. Believe that. Yeah. If you're like most creators, then being original is your most valuable asset. And when you're ready to make huge improvements, it can feel as if everything costs too much or just takes way too long. But something as simple as updated headshots from some law can separate you from what everyone else is doing and still looking. Those you have industry standings with recommended some law entertainment for decades, so you know that the job will get done successfully at the lowest cost, especially when those extra dollars have to go to something else in the budget like lighting, aerial imagery, and all those things that come along with in-house studio requirements, and the team is ready to help you with everything. With free consultation, you can ask questions and see exactly how it makes sense the most to you. Once able to get the finances out the way, the creative process is all you need to focus on. Plus, there's no misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Protect what's worth protecting, and I'll see you in the studio. And if you don't know, now you know. We are live on set with Irven, and we are here discussing forgiveness. The levels of success are all different for everyone, and that is true, yes. But one thing for sure, have to be there is the work, the grind. Success have to be there. To be known by others is success. It doesn't matter if it's one person or if it's 1 billion. Success is different, varying the levels. Now, when I say that, I go with forgiveness because in order to be successful, you have to understand that everyone isn't perfect. No one's perfect. And you have to forgive. And the first level for me was forgiving parents. Understanding where they came from, understanding the struggle, understanding that it wasn't easy for them to do what they had to do to get this far for those who are dead and or alive. Second one are your exes, your relationships. Now, even though I implemented business-wise and your loved ones and women or men or your people, just whatever you have ever dealt with in your past that just didn't work out, you have to also learn to forgive, because a lot of people are walking around and won't even say people's names. And it's scary because when you can't do that, it's like you kind of lose control. And what we don't ever want to do is lose control. You got to learn something from everybody. Everybody teaches you something. And even though you forgive them, doesn't mean that you saying, hey, listen, it's all good. And as far as, hey, we're going to be friends or we're good, we're connected again. But it's like, you know what? I understand you taught me something. Because believe it or not, I see a lot of my homegirls say, yo, listen, they had to go through a lot of dirtball ass dudes just so they can get to their king. And I see who their king are. And I'm like, you know what? I approve. You're Irven approved. Because I also appreciate how a lot of my homegirls, you know, they run me by some of their guys to see exactly if they could stand the test of time and accept them for who they are right now. And you'll be surprised, a lot of these guys just can't. And it's not to their fault. It's not to their fault at all. Believe it or not, some of my homegirls are very, very expensive. But I go with your parents, you have to forgive them. Your ex-relationships, you have to forgive each and every single one of them and officially move on. Your third is those that's in your life right now that still don't want to see you win. That's kind of crazy, right? Because in 2024, you'll think that, yo, everybody that I'm going into the new year with, we all on the same page, right? Wrong. You're not. You are not. And anybody that say, yo, listen, your circle is tight, I really want to see him. If that's the case, put your group under right now, because I know that we're all running around here like sharks in a fish tank, trying to see how we can navigate, trying to see what we can control, trying to see what we can build on. And you got people that's in your circle right now that really don't mean you well, governor. They just don't. They don't mean you well, man. They'll say one thing, they'll go do another. They say they're gonna be ready after they come back from trips. They're not ready. You FaceTime them, you call them, they don't answer. It has nothing to do with you. But again, you have to forgive those as well, because sometimes you see this, sometimes it's really just me in the studio alone. And when you're able to pivot and find yourself in a space where you're still able to get some work done, that's when you know you are operating as officially a one-man band. And sometimes when you see the camera on the sliders moving, that's the technology. So you know that T varies as well in the set, because we can strategize, we can execute, and you need the technology. Without the lights, without the cameras, without none of these things that's going on right now, this is damn near impossible. So we want to be graceful about that as well. But forgiveness to your parents, forgiveness to your exes, and those that are in your life right now, you'll be surprised. Think about the things that you got going on right now, and how many times people done shared, how many times people done showed, how many times people done talked about it, how many times you've been a part of discussions that triggered something. What is it that even make you want to use this as background sound? You know, forgiving those that you've been connected to that just didn't mean you well. Those that you've been connected to that, you know, even into the new year, you realize that, maybe they aren't really here for me how I need them to. Sometimes some people are there for you how they want to be there for you. Is that to your fault? If you accept it. Only if you accept it, though. But just because they're this way right now doesn't mean they're going to be this way an hour from now. Doesn't mean you can continue to be the same way a day from now. Doesn't mean you can't be a different way a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, a decade from now. Time can show, but you have to be able to put in time. Forgive these people. Sometimes you have to continue to show how you're growing, and if they get in line, they get in line. If they don't, they don't. You have to be able to be comfortable with that pivot. Be comfortable with the pivot. Forgive them. Sometimes you might have to give a little bit more space. But with more space comes more episodes, come more time, more structure, more a more solid integrity clause that comes connected with this. Listen, guys, I'm gonna have guys and guests on here as well. But as I tell you guys, these moments right here is really me and you. It's us. With me enrolled in school, me getting my degree, me recording music, me doing things like this, me talking to multiple cameras, me doing so many, me belching. I forgive those who have to even hear that. I apologize. Maybe I'll bleep it out. Forgiveness, those who just don't want to see you successful. That next level. This level that we're talking about right here, right now. You may have people in your space that just don't mean you the best at the moment. Doesn't mean that they really want you to fail. They just don't know how to even deal with you in real time either. That's something that you have to deal with. Once you know how to forgive and let it go, realize that those projects that's supposed to happen exactly like that. Nothing else. Exactly like that, Governor. So sometimes we say, yeah, man, things could have been better because of this. Things could have been better because of that. No. That was exactly what it is. That was one of your 1,000 tries, probably. And what we say about 1,000 tries, you got to go through 1,000 tries, 1,000 attempts, 1,000 different things that you go through to make you get to a point where you're like, you know what? This is where I land. Just take off. Take off and land wherever the rocket lands you. Forgive them. Let it all go. And while you're still working on you and doing what you got to do, they see you. They gonna see you. They have to see you. How could they not see you? You look so damn good, they could probably smell you off the screen. We're live on set. We are figuring it out. New year, new everything. And those that are around you right now, just look at your circle. Do the test. Post something. See who share it. Fine tune all relationships. Because anybody that tell me that this figured out in real time, oh baby, you better be a part of the of the world, because I know what I know. And I tell you right now, what I got going on, a lot of y'all, it's time to tighten up. Tighten up for the new year, 2024. We are here, and shout out to everybody out there who do mean me well. Listen, let's not forget those who are really in your corner as well. And sometimes, we have egos and we don't see it that way, as if people are actually in our corner, when all along they're right there, Governor. They're right there, believe it or not. They're right there. But sometimes, like I tell you guys also, you have to use your people, and when you use them, just make sure you use them correctly. And if you use your people correctly, that's your fault. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody else, baby, but you. But as you strategize, execute, figure out what your team is, make it work. Each one teach one. We're live on set. And listen, man, everybody out there who don't mean me well, who watch, who may call me all types of random things, and I've been ignoring a few of those who've been sending me the messages. And it is funny. I ain't gonna front. It's funny. But what I will say is that when you start doing things like that, I need you to really, really look in the mirror. And when you do, whatever it is, ask yourself, exactly. We're live on set. We'll be back. Peace. Looking for ways to update your electronic press kit without blowing the budget? Finally figured it out for you guys. For years, we've been figuring it out here at Some Law Entertainment. As a music artist, I get that we all have humble beginnings and all start from somewhere that made us passionate about expressing what's inside. Some Law and Company makes it simple to get those necessary industry standard headshots, aerial images, as well as candid moments from a space that doesn't require you to be anyone but yourself. With Some Law, there's no need to continue putting on parts of your creativity that could change your life and others for an eternity. We all need different perspectives to each project to see if it moves at full capacity. So why not get started now and see where it takes you? Look, we're in the end of 2023, and even those headshots from COVID begin to be a thing of the past. Reach out to us. Quite sure there's something that we can always work out. What's the worst that can happen? Is that something's going to happen. I'll see you in the studio. Surprise, surprise! And I am here. Out of the many that my mother and father attempted, probably, I've arrived. And when we discuss success, and I look at my success rate, I look at what I've done in my past and where I'm at right now, I say, wow, I've done some amazing things. And All the things I'm not proud of, and some things I'm like disgusted with, and some things I'm also saying, wow, I actually did that. And that comes with all forgiveness. And as we discuss, in order to get to this next level of success, you have to learn to forgive. You have to learn to forgive your parents. You could only imagine what they actually had to go through. You have to learn how to forgive your ex-relationships. Doesn't matter if it's through music, if it was personal, intimate. You have to learn how to let all that go. You have to also learn to forgive those that may be in your circle right now as of today, that may not even mean you well or don't know how to assist you. May not even mean that they don't mean you well, but there are some people you'd be surprised that be like, yo, it seemed like you got it figured out. It seemed like you have it figured out. And I've been told that several times by really two people. But it's one of those things of, I look at the other side of the coin where it's like, yo, I'm over here doing so many different things in order to pull this thing off. And when you look in the scripture, when you see the video operating, and you see the boards, and you see the executive, and you see the producers, and you see stylists, and you see music production and music intro and this like that, it's because these are the people that's really contributing to the growth or development of this project. And I thank and I appreciate and I love each one of you guys. And being able to, forgive those that is even in my circle that assist and may not know how to give all of it, but they do the best they can. I understand that as well. And I don't hold nothing against you guys either, because it's a each one teach one platform and we all don't have the answers. And with understanding that, it's one of those things of, last but not least, you have to learn how to forgive yourself. You got to forgive yourself. You have to stop giving yourself so many crazy obstacles and pushing yourself to a level where when you drive yourself crazy. You can drive yourself mad if you continue to follow through the way you actually do. And believe it or not, there's so many people out there in the world, in the industry, that's out there right now that I know that's going through it. I know they're going through it. And I know it's not easy, and I know it's a struggle, and I know it's hard. And my prayers go out to you guys, because I know that a lot of you guys are struggling. It's hard for you guys to even forgive yourselves. And when you learn to forgive yourself, that's the last level of getting through the storm. Some people are going to look at the storm and just move out the way of the storm. Some people are going to actually walk toward the storm and get into the storm and get it figured out. And then there's going to be those people who are going to get out of the storm and be able to look back and be like, yo, I got through. I figured it out. I'm going through a phase. You can see that, right? I've been recording and going through so much, but I figured out the process. I forgiven my family and my parents. I've forgiven those that in my business and my relationships who just didn't mean me well. I forgive those who are in my closer inner circle who still may not mean me well. I forgive myself, because if I don't forgive myself, all of this is a blow anyway. In order for myself to get to the next level, I have to learn how to be patient with myself. I have to learn how to trust the process, trust the outfits, trust the time periods, recording episodes, doing this, doing that, just making sure that things are done to the best of its ability. Why? Because this is the integrity contract that I set with myself. This is the clause that I've set with Irven. To keep myself consistent, to work nonstop, to do it to my soul's to do it to my heart's content. Will be at my sole responsibility, risk, cost, and expense, regardless of whether or not this is successful or not. We are live on set. And this is just pretty much me basically saying that I forgive everyone. I forgive the industry. I forgive the producers that didn't want to participate. I forgive the sound. I forgive every single thing, because everything that's happening here is really courtesy of Irv. And this is what it's like when you constantly just put it in the work. and when you're constantly forgiving and letting things go, and when people step on your feet in a location you don't feel a certain way, when people on the train, when they're trying to live and do bars all around you, you just know how to just move out the way. And when they bump you and they say certain things and they don't know how to say excuse me, maybe they wasn't taught to say excuse me. And sometimes it's not even for me to always be the teacher, the educator. Sometimes it's gonna be for somebody else to bust they, for them to realize that, hey, this is life, and be very, very careful. And even though I gave you a pass, somebody else in the world just may not. We are live on the set. Even though this is a each one teach one, it still will be at your sole responsibility, risk, cost, and expense, regardless of whether or not you follow these instructions or not. We are live on set. 2024, I'm here, and you're here. And if you're here, we're here. Peace.